welcome to this video live stream. I hope the quality is okay. God will through some more with should be working on his, it's kind of there. But so I was out preaching in Ingolstadt yesterday, and I discovered that I think even though the founding of, I'm not sure about the Illuminati and everything, but I think that Adam Weishaupt was born in Ingolstadt, and maybe the original Angles, or came from the families of Europe, traveled down the Danube, and possibly the tribe of Dan connected with that, in some of the Anglo-Saxon tribes. Some of them associate. So tribes are excommunicated by the Lord from the 144,000 tribes. Ephraim and Dan drew Israel into idol worship, and so I've heard one or two claim that they're from an Ephraim background, but sad to say you're not in the 144,000 anyway. You could be of the Gentile church who are saved. Hallelujah. So that's just the history of things. That's just the standard that God has set in the New Testament. Okay, we've got the Innises here. There's another boar's head, another pig's head, which to my mind isn't Hebrew. I believe some of the Scottish clans would have came from Israel descendant, but if you got a hog's head as your chief, as your clan motto, it's like, no, it's not going to come from a tribe of Israel, obviously. This clan is of ancient origin and is found in Moray as early as the 12th century, when Beowulf, described as Frandensis, received a charter of the lands of Innis from Macallum IV in 1160. Sorry, not Macallum, Malcolm. His grandson assumed the names Innis from his lands and received confirmation of his charter and succeeded the 5th Duke of Roxburgh. James, 6th Duke, was created Earl in are descended from the Innises of Robert V Baron of acquired the lands of Belvanny in Banffshire. He was created a baronet in 1631. Loyalty to the Stuarts caused the estate to be sold by Sir Robert, 3rd Baronet. On the death of the 4th Baronet, and title passed to James Innes of Orton. I kind of knew a James Innes once. He double-crossed me. Anyhow, we got the guns as well here. It's continued between the guns and the Mackays, Caithness, and Sutherland. The Sutherlands and the guns fought together, sometimes they didn't. We got the Grants. The Grants were consistently royalists and took part in the noble battle on the Hawes of Comdale, which gave its name to the pipe tune made famous by played by Piper Findlater of the Gordon Highlanders at the Battle of Dargai, 1897. Jacobite rising, the clan supported the Hanoverian side, but the Grants of Glen Mortiston supported the Jacobite cause. Second wife, Lady Margaret Ogilvy, daughter of the Earl of Findlater and Sealfield. There's some history about the Grants. Now, I think we had a couple of requests. I'm going to try to find these clans. Fletcher is associated with the Campbells and the McGregors. They made arrows. We got the Fergusons, which are just spread out in a lot of areas in Scotland. Farquharson. Their badges are Dexton armour erect in hand broadsword. The Elliots are a border clan, although many of the family is alleged took their name from the village Elliot in Forfarshire. Elliots of Redhoe were recognised family. The Elliots of Stobbs originated in the 16th century, and in 1666, it's the same day as the formation, I think, of the Illuminati, which Adam Weishaupt was born in this town of Ingolstadt. Gilbert Elliot, or I think it was, maybe it wasn't that one, but it was the Jewish cult, but they called themselves the Sabbatine Frankists. I think they were formed in 1666. It's interesting. So there's a lot happening around that time. The Reformation. Gilbert created a baronet of Nova Scotia. George, the youngest son of the third baronet, was born in 18. He entered the War of the Austrian Succession and was wounded at the Battle of Dettingen. He was governor of Gibraltar when in 1779 Spain and France laid siege to that important fortress. So can you imagine? You had two countries going against just one little battalion. His defence of the Rock is one of the most glorious achievements in British history. Over 100,000 men, 48 sail of the line, 450 cannon, floating batteries, and every conceivable means of warfare were used by the enemy, but the force on the Rock under Elliot remained undefeated. The use of hot shot by the British commenced the complete demoralization of the enemy. When Lord Howe relieved Gibraltar, the loss of the garrison in 9 weeks was 65 dead and 388 wounded. Elliot was created Lord Heathfield, Baron of Gibraltar, in 1787. He died in 1790. Gilbert Elliot descended from the Stobbs branch and was founder of the Minto family. Born in 1651, he followed the profession of law. His work for religious liberty led to his being condemned for high treason in 1685. He was pardoned and was constituted a Lord of Session as Lord Minto in 1705. He died in 1718. His great-grandson Gilbert, an eminent statesman, was Governor General of India 1807, 1812. For his services, he was created Earl of Minto in 1813, and then he died the following year. Now, next one. We have the Duncan clan, House of Camperdown. We also got a Gaelic translation of these names as well. Brown Warrior is the meaning of the Duncans. Their motto here, their badge is a ship, and that's their tartan. Quite a nice tartan, actually. The Duncans and the Robertsons of Clan Donachaida appear to have had the same origin. They were descended from the ancient Earls of Atholl and took their name from the chief Donachada Rimar, or Fat Duncan, who led the clan at the Battle of Bannockburn. The subsequent history of the Duncans' descendants is more properly given under the Clan Robertson, but there is outlined the history of the Duncans of the east of Scotland, represented by the family of Duncan Lundy in Forfarshire. The Duncans possessed land in Forfarshire, including the barony of Lundy and the estate of Gowrie. Sir William Duncan was one of the physicians to George III, and in 1764 was created a baronet. Alexander Duncan of Lundy, Provost of Dundee, was a royalist during the Jacobite Rising in 1745. He married Helena, daughter of Haldane of Gleneagles, and their second son, Adam, was born in 1731. Entering the Navy, he defeated the Spanish at Cape St. Vincent. In 1795, he was appointed commander of the fleet in the North Sea, Admiral of the Blue. He had blockaded the Dutch fleet for 2 years when the mutiny at the Spithead and Nore spread to all his own ships except the Vulnerable, his flagship, and the Adamant. By a stratagem, he kept the Dutch in Texel in 1797 at Camperdown, one of the most glorious victories in the history. For his services, he was created '31. Hallelujah. Now we got the Douglas clan. I believe there's a few here. In fact, there's 2 pages of the Douglases here, 2 different branches of them. I know at least one in the previous video. We always have a joke about the name Douglas because in Scots, the Scots tongue, it sounds as if it's that you have a lack of a dog. You don't have a dog, you're Douglas. So that's kind of a little bit of a joke. But here's the first one. From Lanark, meaning Black Stream, war cry is simply their name, a Douglas, a Douglas. So there we go. That's the first tartan they have. And the badge is a Campiu, on a Champiu, a salamander vert in fire. That's whatever that means. I don't know. There it is. Let's just read the first one out here. The origin of this, one of the most powerful families in Scotland, is unknown. So they don't know the origin. Of them it was said, men have seen the stream, but what eye ever beheld its source? In the 12th century, they are found in Lanarkshire. William of Douglas, who lived in the 12th century, had 6 sons, 5 of whom were associated with the province of Moray. The Douglases were prominent in the struggle for Scotland and Scottish independence in the days of Wallace and Bruce. The good Sir James, while carrying Bruce's heart, was killed fighting against the Moors in Spain in 1330. His nephew William was created Earl of Douglas in 1357, became Earl of Mar by his marriage with Margaret, sister of the 13th Earl. Mar James II Earl was killed in Otterburn in 1380. Otterburn is used as an army base now. It's just on the borders of England. Ended the Queensbury branch. James' half-brother George became Earl of Angus. Earldom of Douglas in 1455, held by the 9th Earl. This obtained the earldom of 1989 when his mother resigned at Dover. Married Mary, daughter Robert III. Archibald V, the Cats. Archibald had a meeting of the Scottish nobles to discuss means of ridding the court of the favourites of James III. Lord Grey likened those in conference to mice and asked who had courage to bell the cat. Archibald exclaimed, I shall bell. Archibald VI Earl was for a long period against James V and kept the young king a prisoner for over 3 years. Earl of Angus was created Douglas in 1633. Archibald III Marquis was created Duke of Douglas in 1703. He died without he won, and his titles except the dukedom, Duke of Hamilton. If you see any pictures of the Duke of Hamilton, he looks full copper cab. They're